First, I want to talk to you guys about. I don't know if you guys noticed my post that I had posted. This is something I've been kicking around for a while, doing a women's circle. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I love doing all of the stuff on social media and everything and being online, but there's a lack for me with being online. There's something that lacks in that, and I like to prefer in person, of course, if I'm available to do it, as well as if you're in the area. So I'm decided to put a women's circle together. The tentative date is a start date would probably be I want to do it outside. I don't want to do it inside because I just sick and tired of being inside. So it'd probably be late May is when I'm looking at doing it. I right now I'm limiting it to just women, and may add on a second group, which would be co-ed, and invite our brothers in arms to join us. But there is something said when you have just the female energy together. And sometimes we just need that support of having the just our sisterhood there. Not to say that there isn't something great when we have the male energy in there as well, but there's a difference there. So yeah, me too. So me too, Natalie. So that's why I was like, I'm doing this. I wanted to do something local. I would like to be able to change locations every so often, without throughout the Windsor and Essex County area. So that way there's something to be said about the energy of each area. So that would be great to be able, so we're not hosting it always in the same area. So if you guys are interested in doing that, I made a website. My website has a link in there where you guys can actually join this, to subscribe to it. Just put your email information in there and your name. So that way I can keep a list of the people that are actually interested in it, so that I can send you guys an email and keep you up to date as far as when it's going to be starting, what's going to happen. Because eventually I would love to be able to incorporate different wellness people in here that do people that do shamanic drumming, and they do the bowls. Like the bowls, like you're just woo, the sound bowls. That's what I mean. You know what, it's late and my brain is fried. So I'd love to be able to bring in other wellness ladies that really know some stuff. So yes, that's what I meant, sound bowls. I mean, we could also bring in cooking as well, but mine is more sound bowls. So yeah, so if you guys want to put yourselves on a list, and if you know somebody that is interested in something like that that's not on Facebook, even though I love Facebook and stuff, or I did like Facebook's really changed over the time. There's some people that they're not in Facebook people, they've never had it, so this way they're able to get some of the information as well. They can just get on the list, and I'd be able to email them their information, and keep them things. So the very first one is probably going to be limited with the amount of people, just because of space. I think I'm going to have it here, at my house. There's a property in the back here, so I'll probably have it there. So it'll probably be a smaller circle just to begin with. But yeah, so there's a lot of different things, that ideas and things like that I have that kind of want to incorporate in there. So I'm excited about it, and I hope everyone else is too. Just because when you have so many, when you're cooped up for so long, it's good to have interaction, and have the touch and everything else with the people. There's something very healing about being outside. So that's one of the things that I wanted to mention with you guys. Another thing is, I'm coming up on another event in March the 29th at 3:00 at Cooper's Hawk. And this one is how our past lives influence our present. So past lives reading looks into what your soul has experienced in your past lives. By finding out what happened in your past lives, we can uncover patterns or cycles, as well as discover karmic influences affecting your personality, relationships, and circumstances in your current life. So I decided to do an event surrounded with that. But along with that, I'll be doing the regular readings as well, and you can ask a psychic question if you want. So it's not just connecting with the loved one from the other side, but it's connecting with you and your soul and everything else. So I decided that why limit? I don't limit my abilities. I do everything. Another one that I have right now is it's right before Halloween. This one's kind of nervous because this one's a big one. It's at the Chrysler Theater, October 17th. Tickets are on sale now. So all of this information is on my website, psychicmediumbella.com. I've also started doing, people have been asking me about this a lot, and I don't do it very often, but I decided to start for now, and I'll see how it goes. But I will be starting to do private. I'm offering private psychic medium classes now. So if anybody's interested, you can. That information is also on my website. If everybody wants to learn how to be a psychic medium, and it's crazy. All right, so I'm going to be answering a couple of questions here. Uh, Let me just look here. The first one was referring to the video that I did on spirit guides. And the question was is about positive and negative spirits influences, how we feel either good or bad about whatever decision we make. Since life is full of obstacles, how can we distinguish whether or not we make a bad decision based on a negative influence? Or if we make the right decision to help us at our learning level, which may have required soldiering through the obstacles. Everything, as far as a lot of the stuff that happens, making a good or bad decision, it's not, even though this is a simple question, it's not a very simple answer, just because the way you were going to know if you're making a good decision is, first of all, it feels good to you. The synchronicities line up. That's how you know you've made the decision, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, something else comes up that lines up with that decision you made. How you know if you've made a decision that's not entirely up to your highest good, or based on your soul contract, is when you've chosen to do something and all of a sudden it doesn't turn out the way you thought it was going to turn out, because you're forcing something to happen. It's not the best in your best interest. So saying that something is bad or good is very simplified. It's more like, is this for me or is this not for me? And the way you're going to know if it's not for you, it's because it doesn't feel right. There's something about that decision that just doesn't align with your soul, and it never ends up working out. You're having to do more work to get things going, and it's like you're pulling teeth to get what you need to get. That's how you know that's not a good decision, and you need to let it go and kind of start back at the beginning, because you might have started with something that was good and then you went off the track somewhere. So that's how you know. Um, and then, so is there any other questions on that? I hope that helps. Okay. So yes, Heather, you were the one who asked the question. This is the other question, Heather. So I hope that helps answer that one for you. And your other question was, are children able to see their guides? For example, I used to see my protector around my bed when I was very small, but they had a form that made sense to me, like some kids might see a superhero. If your guides want you to see them, they will show up. It's rare, so it's very rare to see your spirit guide, because normally they don't usually show themselves to you. So you might have seen, it might have been a protector spirit that you had, or maybe if it might have just been familiar because it was a relative that passed. So therefore you recognize the energy. As far as seeing your spirit guides, it's very rare. It's very rare for you to see them. I don't know of anybody that actually has. I'm just thinking from my own experience. I've never seen anyone's spirit guide. Whenever they appear to me, I don't see their physical form. I just see them as light, and I sense their energy. And they identify themselves as a guide because they need to come into the reading. Um, I myself took a very long time to meet my guides, but I never remember seeing them as a child. And even then, your guides will change as you grow, so it's not always the same. So the only one that sticks with you your whole life would be you have one guide that does stick with you your whole life. Then you also have a guardian angel, which could be one and the same. We kind of talk about that. But I don't remember. I can't honestly say, yeah, that's it because I've never seen it. So, but if you feel that you saw it, and they identified themselves as it, I mean, that's not up to me to say yes or no. That's on you. Like you saw it, then 100% that showed them they can do it. Whether or not they do is I don't know. They kind of are the ones that have they're they're limited with the information that they give me because I'm on a need to know basis, and sometimes I just don't need to know. I could have just imagined them. A lot of times, when I was a kid, I would sense, when I was sensing, I mean, because spirit guides is a spirit. They're spirits. So a lot of times you're going to be sensing spirits around you. And that's mostly what you're going to be sensing around you a lot. So, and a lot of times it's familiar people because it's your family member that's passed over. So you could have felt that. A spirit guide's a little bit different energy. So, but I'm not saying that it couldn't have been. I mean, it very well could have been who you were feeling that it was. I mean, they do what they want. They're the boss. I just follow the rules. All right, so we're gonna get into empaths and HSPs, highly sensitive people. They're the same but different. This is the thing. A empath can be highly sensitive person, but a highly sensitive person is not always an empath. So 99% of psychic mediums are highly sensitive people. I should about 99%. They're highly sensitive people because we sense energy. So if you're sensing energy around you and you're highly sensitive to that, you're going to be a psychic because that's what it is. It's the empathic part that differentiates the two of them because I've met psychic mediums who are not empathic at all. So that makes a huge difference. So we're going to be talking just about um, empaths right now because that is actually quite involved in itself. So being a psychic medium, your my sensitivity is very fine tuned. My antenna can easily pick up messages from the other side, from spirit, and but the difference with me being an empath, I feel their emotions. So when I'm doing a reading, and if that person um, has something that's if they're feeling something for that other person, like if they're feeling a strong emotion, most of it is love. That's when they're coming in. But if there's some animosity there, I will feel that because I'm highly sensitive to the feelings of someone else. And I usually, someone else in front of me, if they're breaking down, I can feel that emotion as well. And it affects me. So here's a perfect example. I can only use myself because I am HSP and an empath, so I can only use myself as an example. So if I walk into a room full of people and everyone in there is having the best time ever, they are laughing away, and I'm not completely grounded in myself, it will affect me. I will be like having the best time. I will get on the same high and everything else, and I will be having fun. Fine, like I will be having fun, and I could walk in not just like being okay, and all of a sudden I'm just like I get into that vibe, the energy, because it's just boom, it gets me. Same thing, which is great, but the same thing will happen if I walk into a room where everyone is sad because something's happened or there's something miserable. I will walk in and I will feel that as well, and I can walk in feeling awesome, and then all of a sudden it just like boom, and it hits you, and it will drain you if you don't protect yourself. So it's doing that. Now, everybody that's sensitive, everybody that's an HSP doesn't always have the emotions that are going to affect them that way. So it will affect me to the point where sometimes I have to leave. I will have to leave the room and kind of reset myself so that I can feel my own energy back, and then having to protect myself so I'm not taken over by someone else's energy. Um, Same thing is if I'm sitting next to somebody, and that person is crying and they're not feeling well, but they're kind of hiding it. I'm able to get into that emotion and feel sad, and yet I'm feeling okay. I was before I sat next to this person. So that's part of being empathic. Um, Now, whenever we look up the unique abilities of an empath or what the benefits are of a empath, they're usually the stuff that they usually write about isn't very. It's always very like, I hate to say negative, but there is. Like whenever you look at it, what does it mean to be an empath? So we'll go through some of them and let me know if you've feel some of these. You might see something like you feel overwhelmed all the time. You can't tell your own emotions from other people's emotion. You need a lot of alone time and socially isolate. You struggle in intimate relationships. You over identify with pain and suffering. You take on other people's stress and feel exhausted. You are an emotional sponge. You don't recognize your own needs. You fall victim to energy vampires. You feel guilty and can't put down boundaries. You have a hard time staying grounded and startle easily. You're extremely sensitive or overly sensitive and sure feel bad about this. So when you read a list like that, how do you feel? Like, how do you like if you were to read a list like that about being an empath, would you think, "Oh, what kind of superpower is this?" So, and it sounds like it's disempowering, and it's not, because there is good to it. Um, so and not to and I've heard this really mm, is sounds like you. Sounds like a lot of us, Lee. Uh but when I've actually have had people post stuff about how when they hear people saying that they're empaths, that they need a mental health diagnosis, that there's something mentally wrong with them, and it's just like that's it. No, it doesn't mean that. That is just one side of it, and of course, it's the negative side that always gets showcased. Yes, to all of it, but I don't feel bad about establishing boundaries anymore. Well, that's great because that's another thing that you need to do. So, we're going to look at the other side of it because there is great stuff. So this is often these sides are also often disregarded and overlooked, but they're incredibly important and true to the other side of how strong it is to be empathic tendencies. So you experience life more deep, colorful, and moving. You have I have a wider bandwidth for feelings and emotions, allowing for more meaningful relationships. You have high emotional intelligence, can tap into different frequencies and vibrations, and can heal themselves faster through their ability to pick up on these things. Can hear and commune intimately with nature and receive healing guidance from it. Are natural born healers or space holders. Feel people's emotional states and help people feel understood. Have a knack for reading body language. Have a head start when it comes to opening up their intuition. Feel inspired to help others, animals, or make the earth a better place. Have a lot of love and a big heart, which is so needed in our world. So, that is the amazing part of being an empath. For some reason, they always like to showcase the negative part, which makes us feel bad for being empaths. Meanwhile, it's me being an empath that actually makes me the medium that I am and makes me want to still do this because why else would you want to open yourself that way to the other side and read energies if you're not going to be there to help people? Like, there's no reason for it. For me anyways, that's my feeling behind it. So I use my empathic abilities to be able to help people and inspire them, so that they don't go through some of the negative things that I went through. That's the whole reason why I'm putting together like the women's circle and all these other things. Is to reach out to people that have gone through the same things that I have. So, um, so now reading that list, I hope it fills you with a sense of positivity and hopelessness, because there is something great about being an empath. We're going to do an test. So we're going to do a quiz. So if you guys don't have a piece of paper or a pen or something, if you guys want to get one, so that way, because I'm going to read off some stuff, and then at the end, I'll be able to tell you what exactly you are based on your test results. Yes. Yes. I mean, empaths come in, and we'll know by this list here. Empathic people come in a variety of different ways. There's a variety of different empaths, that, and you'll know what you're geared towards more, as far as what your abilities are more towards, and you can be more than one. There's nothing that doesn't say that you can't be, two different types of empaths or three different types of empaths. There's no rules here with this game. It's not a game, but there's no rules here. So I'm going to read out the question, and then I'm going to read out, it's A, B, C, and D. So I'm going to read out four different answers, and you pick the answer that most sounds like you. And then just keep track of either question one, A. Let me see how many questions there is. One, three. There is 5 questions, so not a whole lot of questions. So just at the end, just count up how many A's or how many B's or whatever it is that you have. So here's the first one. You're eating out and your server is visibly stressed. How do you react? A, it's hard for me to separate my own feelings from theirs, so I try to make their job a bit easier by ordering a simple meal. B, I have an inkling that beyond being stressed at work, they had a hard day and are sad. I don't take it on and decide to say something kind or nice to let them know I care. C, I feel super impacted by the server's experience and the amount of people in the room. I can't focus on what I want to eat, and I feel like I need to get outside. Or D, I notice that they are upset, but it's not my responsibility to ease their emotions, so I have compassion for them without taking it on. Number 2, a friend calls you after a tough day at work. What do you do? A, I pick up the phone and instantly feel their emotions. I invite them over even though I need time alone. B, I listen to their feelings and know exactly how they feel. I see images of the entire scenario without much detail and can feel each person within it. I express my inner knowings and it helps them gain more perspective. C, I let the phone go to voicemail. I text that I will call them back, but I need time to prepare myself to hold space. Or D, I deeply sense how they feel. I share advice and don't take on their feelings of overwhelmed. Number 3, you need to make a life-changing decision. How do you respond? A, I have a gut feeling, but don't know if I trust it. I reach out to friends, but then get confused by all the opinions. B, I slow down, get quiet, and talk with my highest self, guides, or ancestors. C, I fear change, so it's hard not to feel overstimulated. I need extra time to process it and ground myself. D, I think about the situation and confidently go with what feels best. Number 4, You're at a crowded concert for your favorite artist. How are you feeling? A bit anxious, so I grab a drink. I can tell who's not comfortable in the crowd and have a hard time not thinking about it. B, really great. I rock out to the songs and can sense information about the people I'm dancing next to. I don't feel overwhelmed and make conversation if I feel like it. C, I'm super loud and I'm overwhelmed by all the people. I came with friends, but I'm so affected it's hard to talk. D, super excited. I love dancing and connecting. I drink plenty of water and limited my time with certain people. And the last one, number 5. How do you feel about people? A, I care too much about them. I go back and forth about how to balance engaging with people and find time for myself. B, I practice loving kindness towards all beings. I work on not taking things personally and know we are souls all here to learn. C, I like them but wish I felt more grounded. Being a human has been kind of hard when life feels like it's on steroids. And D, I care a ton, but have gotten a lot better at deciding whom to spend my time with and practicing boundaries. So let me know in the comments who got mostly A's and who got mostly B's, C's, D's. Like, what were your letters? Hopefully, you guys did the quiz. Okay. 5 was, how do you feel about people? A, I care too much about them. I go back and forth about how to balance engaging with people and finding time for myself. B, I practice loving kindness towards all beings. I work on not taking things personally and know where my soul's all here to learn. C, I like them but wish I felt more grounded. Being a human has been kind of hard when life feels like it's on steroids. Or D, I care a ton, but I've gotten a lot better at deciding whom to spend my time with and practicing boundaries. Okay, so far you're 3. Okay. Kathy, I would say you're B. You're more B's because you got more B's. All right. So if you got mostly A's, you are awakening empath. You have heightened awareness of the emotions of other people and can often anticipate people's needs. You see the world differently. You're very aware of other people and can easily identify with their joys and happiness, but also their pain points and struggles. You are deeply sensitive with a huge heart. People turn to you for advice and find it easy to talk to you. They might say you have a calming effect, that you always seem to know the right thing to say. You care a lot about others, but sometimes caring so much feels exhausting. So, mostly B's. Congratulations, you're an intuitive empath. This means that you can access energetic information that isn't readily available with the 5 senses. Most likely, you're also an empath who has high sensitivity. Intuition can manifest itself in many different ways, such as a thought seemingly dropped into the mind or feeling a knowing. It could also look like one of the clairs, such as clairvoyance or cognizant. Somehow you understand or know things without the use of rational thought. You might be very visual and see images, colors, or energies on your mind's eye. Intuitive empaths thrive when they use their creativity and deep feelings to create and explore. If you find yourself seeking a higher calling, then this is a time to dive into connecting more consistently with your higher self to gain the insights you're looking for. So if you have mostly C's, you are a highly sensitive person. You have a dynamic inner life that can feel complex at times. You are reflective, creative, self-aware, and incredibly quick learner. HSP make great leaders because they love so deeply while knowing the needs of other people. When they share their inner wisdom with others, everyone benefits. Just to let you know, I used to be B. I am now this one. Just to let you guys know when I did the test. So I'm starting to move into this one, which is good. Highly sensitive people are a subset of the population who are high in a trait known as sensory perceptive sensitivity. Holding high levels of SPS means you have increased emotional sensitivity and react strongly to things within you and around you. Um, so when you stay grounded and embrace your wide perspective, you radiate a high and healing frequency to those around you. Journaling, meditating, and making art can greatly support the extra release your nervous system needs to feel good in groups and one-to-one interactions. Mostly D's. Congratulations, you are an empowered empath. You work hard, and life experiences have helped you develop a deep capacity to care for others without becoming overwhelmed by their energy. This is no small feat. You naturally hold space for people, which means that people are magnetized to your field and find it easy to share emotional topics. They might say that they feel understood by you or that they simply feel better. Either way, your compassionate nature is gift and the time you have spent learning how to manage your sensitivity is evident. As an empowered empath, you are not new to your empathic nature. You have learned how to manage your sensitivities and have reclaimed your power by setting boundaries, not taking energy on. Most likely, you have gone through some form of spiritual awakening and are deeply connected with your intuition. You are on the path that is committed to self care, self development, and being a positive role model. So, I am right now a C, but I'm working on my D's. So, so that's so did that resonate with any of you guys? That explanation there? So when you find that you're equal between a B and a C, it's because you're in a transition phase. Because I'm in a transition phase myself. Like I had some that resonated with the C's, but I did have some that was resonating with the D's. So you're in a transitioning phase, which is great because that means you're starting to understand what you need for yourself and how to protect yourself and set those boundaries. Okay, that's great. So now, just the one thing that people tend to do as a sensitive person, because of the fact that you're feeling all of these energies coming at you left and right, and sometimes you don't understand it. A lot of times, what you need to do is people's first reaction is to run and hide. I Your first reaction is to run and hide. Like the whole thing where it's like, I can't do people today. I don't, that drives me nuts because we need people. Like you know, you can't be by yourself. I have had way too many times where I've seen people come here for a reading, which they isolated themselves so much that they have anxiety going out and they actually will have a panic attack because of whatever reason. So you can't isolate yourself that way. You need to be able to expect, you need to be able to do the opposite. And you need to be able to go out more. So you need to, if you have, sensitivities and whatever, you don't have to go out and just be in the middle of a party, but start going out in nature. Go where you feel some safety, where there are some people but not a whole lot, and you still be able to retreat if you feel it. But you need to start coming out more, because a lot of times what people do is they're like, oh my god, no, I can't, so I'm not going to go, and they end up turning down a lot of things and then cocooning themselves in, and then anything that happens affects them. And it's almost like this is a muscle. You need to be able to work it to be able to get your immune system so that it's not affecting you, because that's this is the goal, is so that you'll be able to function in life and society and contribute. Okay, I was going to ask you if you can turn it off, because the last few years I have noticed I'm not as affected by others' energy, but what you makes okay. So it's not turning it off, it's being sensitive to it and understanding exactly what it is. So it's like it's being sensitive enough that it's not going to bother you anymore. So it's a muscle and you need to build it up. If anybody's gone to the gym, the first week that you're there, you're like, I want to die. Like, please, I can't walk. My legs are cramping and everything else. But you continue going because the effects afterwards is worth it. Hopefully you lose weight and hopefully, you get stronger and everything else. And there's a lot of different benefits to it. Same thing goes with anything that's intuitive. Same thing goes with your intuition. The more you use it, the stronger it is. It's a muscle. It needs to be used. If you don't use it and you're always basing it on fear, guess what? You're never going to do anything. So stop cocooning. The worst thing that an empath can do for themselves is cocooning and isolating themselves. Because then you get to the point where you get people that are like, I've had people that have come to me that are shut-ins, that refuse and can't deal with anyone else other than even family members. It's like they can't come over because they're so sensitive. And it's like that's not the solution for this. Because when they've come to me at this point, they know that there's a problem and they're on medication and they're like, I can't live the rest of my life like this. And I'm like, you're right. You can't. But you're the only one that can make that decision. So how about, we can start with baby steps. You're not you can't you got to run, you got to walk before you can run. So let's just start with baby steps and just start getting it in. Let's just start getting you exposed to a little bit, and then, until you feel comfortable, and then coming back again. It's just, you have to do it. That's the only way you're going to be able to build up your muscle to this. So if anybody says, I can't deal with people and I hide away, that's the worst thing that they can do. Absolutely. One of the other thing is that I wanted to mention here is there are different types of did you guys want to know the different types of empaths that are out there? Because I was going to do it, but then I was like, I don't know. But I guess I'll just ask you guys if you guys are interested in learning the different types of empaths. If you guys have any questions about this as well, put it in the chat here. But I'm gonna look up and give you guys some. All right. Okay. So you remember, you can be more than one. You don't have to be just one type of empath, because God knows I'm probably everyone on this list, but okay. So these are the traits. I often find myself feeling overwhelmed by emotions of others. I have a natural ability to empathize with and understand the feelings of those around me. I feel emotionally drained after being in crowded or emotionally charged environments. I feel drawn to people, helping people, or I feel I have a lot of love for human beings. So if you connected with those, you are an emotional empath. The next one is I frequently experience physical sensations or ailments that seem to correspond with those people around me. Am particularly sensitive to physical touch, temperature, or changes in my environment. I do often feel physically drained after being around people or in a crowded place. That one is a physical empath. Next one is I feel a deep sense of connection and peace when I spend time in nature. I notice changes in my mood or energy levels based on the natural environment or weather. I feel a strong emotional response to environmental issues or natural disasters. That is an earth empath. I feel a deep emotional or energetic connection with plants and flowers. I intuitively know how to care for nurtured plants, often feeling rejected by gardening or spending time among greenery. I feel a sense of sadness or distress when plants are harmed and neglected. I can 100% tell you I am not this type of empath. And this is a plant empath, because plants come to my house to die. Um, I can relate to the other 3. I cannot relate to that one. So, I hope there's someone else here that is not yet either, because I feel bad. I do not mean to make them die, but that's just not my. No, I'm not. I feel a strong emotional connection to animals, often sensing their feelings and needs. I find it easy to communicate with animals or understand their behavior. I feel a sense of peace and comfort in the presence of animals. And that's an animal. Yeah, that's an animal. Same you, Natalie. Okay, great. That's an animal empath. An intuitive empath, or okay, if you're an intuitive empath, this is what it is. I frequently experience strong gut feelings or intuitive hunches. I often receive insights or guidance through dreams, visions, or flashes of intuition. I have a knack of predicting outcomes or sensing unseen energies or dynamics, and that's an intuitive empath. And this one is the last one, which is I have experienced psychic phenomena such as premonitions, visions, or psychic dreams. I often pick up on thoughts, feelings, or energies of others without them saying anything. I have a natural ability to interpret. I interrupt as well, but to interpret and understand psychic impressions or messages. And that's a psychic empath. So I can tell you guys right now that out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out of 7 of these, I'm 6 of them. So I'm an emotional empath. I'm a physical empath. I'm a little bit of an earth empath. I do have to say. Usually, if you're a plant empath, you're also an earth empath. So usually the two go together. I'm probably 45% earth empath. I'm working on it, but I 100% I'm not a plant empath. I do not. The worst part about it, years ago, I used to work in a flower shop. That's how bad it was. That's how much of a not plant empath I was. I worked at a flower shop, and I was not. I was a driver. Thank God I didn't have to take care of the plants, because she would have gone out of business real quick. Animal empath, I'm one of those. An intuitive empath, of obviously, and psychic empath. So let me know in the comments how many you guys are, because you guys you at least have to identify with more than just one. You could be all of them, and some people are. I know out of these, I'm not. I know where my weaknesses are. I'm learning with plants, but have a bad history. You murdered them? Just say it, Heather. You're a plant murderer like I am. I try to not to be either, but yeah, I'm a plant murderer. So now there's a bunch of other ones. These are just like the basic ones, but apparently there's like, I remember looking it up once and there was like 15 other ones. A lot of them tend to overlap, but those are the basics. Um, Mostly physical, intuitive, and earth. Definitely not a planet math either. Okay. The strong connections, that would be earth, Stephanie. That's an earth one. A lot of people that have like that are connected with the elements. This particular write up, which full disclosure, I did not write these up. Even the test, that's not my test I put together. I got this test from somebody. I don't remember who it was. So I hope I don't get, in trouble, but I forgot who the person was. But if you're connected with the elements like air, fire, water, earth, you're an earth empath. That's all there. I've never that's the earth one. That's why they usually have plant empaths separate, because that's a completely different thing. And I know someone that is a plant empath, and I like, bless you. They have the patience, and they know exactly what it says, and the plants like react. I've actually seen the plants react to this person to me, they run and hide in the soil because they're like, "Oh, she's here to kill us. She's here to take us out." Yeah, I mean, you ha y all of these, you're at them at different times, so you're not gonna be all of these at the same time. So it all depends on the situation, with it. So, I mean, if I fine-tuned myself, I guess I could be a plant empath and really tune in, because I did learn to tune in with animals. It wasn't until I actually had animals of my own, that was easier, and because cats are very, very psychic animals, cats are actually the one thing that would probably open you up more than anything else. Not to say that dogs don't, but cats themselves are very psychic. Cats don't see you, because when dogs look at you, they look at you. When cats see you, they see your aura, they see your energy. And we all know that we've all sat there where all of a sudden the cat's looking out and it's not, it's looking at something else, because cats are very, very psychic. That's great, Heather. So yeah, so everybody, most of you guys here are all empaths. So, which means that you probably are all as well highly sensitive people. And I'll do another live on that to explain it, because that's got a lot more layers to it with it. So that's why it's just easier for me to explain the empath, because that's the one thing I know more of. um so yeah, so thanks everybody for tuning in. This is my first live on YouTube. I've never done a live on YouTube before, so this is the first time. So thank you for making it easy on me. And if you guys have any more questions, you guys can leave it. I'm not going to do any readings today, because I want to actually save my energy, because I've been feeling a little under the weather today. My stomach doesn't feel that well, and I kind of want to just save my energy to for myself, because I actually have readings booked tomorrow. I have to work tomorrow, so I don't want to hurt myself. So I'm going to leave you guys with everything. I hope you guys you're welcome for the information. And if you guys have any questions or anything, you guys can always message me and I will answer them on the next live. I don't know what the next live is really going to be. I never really know from time to time. Um, you know what's funny, Natalie? My ribs healed up, and now this is what happens when you're over 40 and going into premenopause. Your body starts to break down. So my ribs are finally healed. I'm finally back to the gym, and then all of a sudden, I have a bit of a stomach bug. So thank you. Hopefully, it's just a 24-hour thing, and I'll be able to feel better tomorrow. If not, we're just gonna have to wing it. But yeah, I'm going to I can't remember, there was something that came up for me to talk about next week. But if you guys have any actually, if you guys have anything that you guys want me to dive into and to talk about, by all means let me know, and I will do some I'll look into it as much as I can, and give you some information, because I mean, I don't have all of the answers, but I will certainly try and find them for you guys. But other than that, you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.